Okay, this is my studio, and it's 10 feet wide by 12 feet long, and I have a very large drafting table in there. So I'm going to go ahead and walk in here, and I'll get in closer and show you the things on the table and some of the things that I use. And so what I have here is this is a small table on rollers, so I can pull it out here and place it in where this trash can is if I need to work on one of my large paintings, which this is one of my large paintings right here. I think it's like 30 by 41, something like that. It's transparent watercolor, and I like to compose this type of painting. What I'll do is, for instance, that Kabuki man was in the courtyard of the Royal Hawaiian Hotel in Hawaii, of course, and then the bird was on the other side of the island. I photographed him there, and the plants around behind are also part of different parts of the island, probably Waimea Falls Park. And then some of this foreground foliage in here actually came out of my greenhouse that I had in Houston, and I like to take the pieces and put them together into a composition. So when I'm working on one of these really large paintings, then I'll move that little table around here to the right, and so that I can put my paints down on there and have more room on the desk. Now, when I first started out, I used a 3-foot wide drafting table as my desk. I had that in my bedroom, but one of the things I found that if I had all of my paints and brushes and water containers out, then I would paint more frequently. So now I have a dedicated studio and have had for many years, but when you're first starting out, you might just set up a separate table somewhere. So I'm right-handed, so everything is to the right of me. So if you're left-handed, just flip everything around. This is one of my original color charts. When I decide to try a new color, I'll put it on this chart up here and go from dark to light. It just gives me a reference point, something to look at really quickly if I'm looking for a specific color that I want to work with. But primarily I use about 9 colors, and this is a Tom Lynch water palette. I have a John Pike watercolor palette and another brand as well that has more wells in it. So if I wanted to use more colors, more different paints, I could. But I primarily work with about 9. Now I have more than that in here now because I'm working on a new set of color charts, and I'll be doing an entirely separate video on color charts and how important they are to an artist. They can really improve your painting ability in the quickest amount of time of anything that you can do. As well as on the video, I'll be talking about how you use these if you're working with an interior designer. A lot of times an interior designer will say, I need something like this, but I need to incorporate this color in there somewhere, and so I can use my color charts to figure out what makes the color they want in there, and then how can I work it into the painting as an accent is basically what you would need to do. So I have a color wheel, I have a grayscale value finder, just bought a new one because my other one was getting faded, a viewfinder, a hair dryer, and this right here is a tube. It squashes the remaining paint out of the tube, pencils and kneaded eraser. And when I'm working on a smaller piece, or when I teach my classes and we use this size paper for practice on, I have another board here, and these 2 pieces of wood that are here allow me to put this at an angle lower angle or greater angle when I'm working on doing washes. These are my primary brushes. As you can see, I do have a lot more here. I have some in the other room as well in my closet. These are a couple of the additives that I'll use, and I'll talk about additives, and there's a masking fluid. I'll be talking about the masking fluid on one of my videos as well. But I use paper towels, Kleenex, and I use napkins. The napkins are when I wash my brush out or when I'm through painting, I'll wipe that on there. And then I can just take a couple of the napkins away and throw them away and have a fresh place to wipe my brush. But I primarily use these few brushes, and I have a natural sponge. There's a glove that I wear on my right hand when I'm painting to keep from putting any oil from my hands. I have the thumb and the first finger cut off on the glove so that you can feel and control the brush better. I use a 3-water system for rinsing my brush out. The big brown one I use to wash out the brush first, and then I will wash it out, rinse it out again here, and then any water for mixing my paints comes out of here, and it also holds the brush. So I built this little wall rack here so I could put my paintings up there, as well as my color chart and some notes that I want to remember when I'm painting. And so this, like I said, the drafting table for me works the best. You don't have to have anything this big if you're starting out or whatever, but for me, I like to spread things out. Now you'll see that my studio is not really messed up. I did do a lot of cleaning up before I filmed this, a little organizing. I do a lot of storage underneath my art magazines, plein air, because I paint in oil, primarily plein air. Those are some of the studies I do for my paintings as well. My lighting system, I'll show you. Right there's a small one that reaches over closest to my painting that I'm working on, so I can get a lot more direct light when I'm trying to do some detail. But up here is my largest light, and this is 4 bulbs with color corrected lights for natural light. And if you can see up there, I have those on a chain, and I have additional hooks up there, so I can move the light further out or further back, or I can lower it as well, depending on what size painting I'm working on. So okay, so that's pretty much all of that. Oh, there's a lot of my tube colors right there. I use this little palette here for sometimes mixing a bigger supply of paint in a particular color that I'm going to use for a wash. But I think that's all on here. Then of course I have some of my art books are there. Have some in another room as well. And so over to this other side is the business part of art, of course, to keep track of my art classes and people that have bought my paintings on computer and printer and that sort of thing. Here's my file cabinet right here. I do have a morgue file. A morgue file is basically files of pieces, photographs and things of that nature of, sometimes the wildlife, like it may have pictures of multiple pictures of birds and stuff. And back here I have a very large mirror, but it really is something that you need if you're in a smaller space, because when I'm working on my paintings, I can just turn around and look into the mirror and take a look at my painting. I can see in reverse the image, as well as by seeing it from a distance. I don't have to keep walking back and forth. And so that's about it for the studio.